Hey everybody, Brian here. In this video I want to show you this car here. I really have to say I'm a big fan of some of the Kia Ceed range, especially when they come in the high specifications. This one's a bit unusual. This is Kia Ceed and it's plug-in hybrid. This car sort of reminds me of, we had a Pro Ceed earlier in the year, which is a kind of sporty looking, sort of fastbacky, estatey kind of shape. But this is kind of more of a square looking shape. But I have to say there's some lovely lines. If you look around the car, I'll go into some of the details. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to show you some of the stuff I like on the outside and the inside of the car, and significantly then how the plug-in hybrid setup works, and we'll go for a drive in the car as well. If there's any information you want on the car, this cat here, I'd be happy to take your calls. Anyway, so if there's any information you want on the car in terms of the car itself, trading in, finance, whatever you want to know, 086 843 1945, give it a shout. I'd be happy to run through information on the car, or basically the after sales, or finance, or whatever you want to know. I think I'm going to start off by showing you, because this is plug-in hybrid, so some people, they're basically going to want to know how it works compared to everything else. So let's just get that part out of the way for anyone that's unfamiliar with these cars. So yes, it has a fuel cap, which unleaded petrol goes into, and it also has another cap which you plug in to a charge point. The car comes with a granny cable. A granny cable is a nice way of saying, or not a nice way, actually it's a horrible way of saying it, but it just seems to be the industry way of saying it. A 3-pin plug that plugs into your house at home, and then there's the other side that goes into the car. When you use one of these, you're going to be able to charge at somewhere in the region of 1 to 2 kilowatts every hour. Now my understanding is this car has like an 8.9 kilowatt hour battery, so if it's getting 1 kilowatt every hour, that means it's going to take 9 hours. If it's getting 2 kilowatts every hour, which is the max, I think, you can control these basically, and you can change the rate at which they charge. I can show you that before you buy the car, but max it's going to give you 2 kilowatts every hour, which means 2 into about 9. That's going to be like 4.5 to 5 hours for a full charge, but you do it overnight. For some of you, if you are familiar with electric cars or plug-in hybrids already, then you'll say, well, maybe I'll get a cable like this one here, so that means you can plug it in. Now you have to buy it because it doesn't come with the car. They're about kind of 400 quid. You can get them cheaper on the internet, but the genuine ones are usually about 450 quid. So you plug that into the car. So this, like, if you have the 3-pin socket that we showed you, or if you have the charge cable like this, both of them plug into the car in the exact same way. Okay, in that case, that is what they call a 7 kilowatt hour cable, so that can take 7 kilowatts into a car every hour, provided the car can accept it. However, what I've seen on these is, it looks like the max charge on these is around 3.3. So as I was saying to you, this cable here, while it can carry 7, the car will only take 3.3. That's fine. So think about it this way, if the car will take 3.3, 9 kilowatt hour battery, roughly about 3 hours for a full charge to get it back up to full charge, fine. But realistically speaking, the 3-pin socket, if you wound it up to 2 kilowatts every hour, I think I probably wouldn't bother getting a charge point in the house, and I would just use that. So you can buy this cable, and it'll allow you to, the cable like that, it'll allow you to do a quicker charge. It's only moderately quicker, it's going to save you an hour. Is it worth probably buying the charge point for the house? Probably not for this car alone, but if you're thinking long term, then maybe it is. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense so far. So like we said to you, standard 3-pin, that's going to do 2 kilowatts every hour, about 4 to 5 hours full charge. If you buy a cable like that, it'll allow you to have a slightly quicker charge at 3.3 kilowatts every hour. So hopefully that makes sense so far. If it doesn't make sense, then do not be afraid to give me a shout, and I'll try and explain it a bit better. Anyway, when the car is fully charged, or even if it isn't, you just open that out, take it off, close it up. You that are watching, I might be deviating a bit on this, but this is just to get it straight into your head. So say for example, you buy this car, you're familiar with all this stuff, then fair enough, you might have to flick forward. But the next thing I just need to make you aware of is the just basically what happens if you charge and if you don't charge. Okay, so down in here we have a battery that's telling us we're pretty much full at the moment. Maybe there's a little bit used, or I can move into PHEV over here to give me this menu, and it's saying I've got 96% of battery. Okay, so the car can do at the moment 55 kilometers of full electric driving, and okay, the fuel level is quite low on the car, fine, nothing really unusual there. We need to distinguish this. If you bought this car and never charged it, I mean never ever charged it, to make it as simple as possible, if you can imagine, the first quarter here of battery is self-charging. So you could actually own this and treat it like, say, a Toyota CHR or Toyota Auris or something like that. That basically is self-charging. So you can get into the car, never charge it, and it'll be self-charging. So it'll use the petrol engine and it'll use the battery. They work in conjunction. You'll do a little bit of EV creeping here and there. You'll do a little bit of EV driving when you haven't got your foot down much, just to maintain speeds and stuff like that. And it'll continuously regenerate that small amount of battery at the start. However, but it won't give you very long. Like, I mean, the max on something like that you might get is half a kilometre, 3/4 of a kilometre of electric drive. Battery will run out. It'll need to recharge. Give you another maybe half a kilometre, it'll need to recharge again. So it's a constant cycle. However, if we charge the car, that'll give us the additional 3/4 of battery. Now, that extra 3/4 of battery is giving us about 55 kilometers of full electric drive. So if we had never ever charged it, it'd be sitting at about 1/4 here, and this electric drive would say 0. Now, it'll still do some creeping and some electric driving like a normal hybrid Toyota or something like that, but it's only when we plug it in, we get the remaining 3/4, then we start to get this estimate of full electric drive. So you can own one of these, never charge them. It's kind of pointless though. So the idea of charging it is that 55 kilometers of your drive becomes full electric. Now, last point, I actually put fuel in this car yesterday. I put a tenner in it, and it gave me a range of hybrid driving, so this is without the electric, of about 60 kilometers. So I reckon to probably, and at this time of the video, and I could be wrong, and it depends on your electricity provider, but it's possible that a car like this, if it was going to cover the first 55 kilometers in electric, that could have cost you maybe about €3 to charge it. Whereas conventionally, if you're driving a petrol car, that could have cost maybe, you know, €8 or something like that for the same journey. So, you know, it's got a possibility of saving you. And I'm going to be a little bit cautious here, maybe €3 to €4 per journey. If you add it up over the year, that's probably going to give you a saving per journey of somewhere in the region of about maybe, per year, maybe, you know, 600, 700, 800 quid per year. But I will stress, these are loose estimates, but I'm generally not too far out. The key's kind of cool on these. Get this big fat key with the kind of controls on the side there. Being a wagon, it's got a really, really big boot. It has some storage down here where we saw the cable, puncture repair kit, more storage in through there, and then after that it's got a big long boot. There is a light up here, there's a 12 volt outlet in through there. That is actually where I think is a 12 volt batteries in there. Yep, 12 volt battery, which you would normally find in the engine bay of a lot of cars, and I think it's really nice. I really like the lights that are on the back of the car. Small things like there's little vents in the bumpers, which again just make it look a bit fatter, and also then it has those, they're not actual exhausts, but they look like exhausts, and they make the car look really nice and symmetrical when you're driving behind the car. I actually think it's a nice shaped car. The wheels in the car then, they're a nice 17-inch wheel, which are diamond cut, you know, so they're kind of shiny and reflective. Look really cool when it's sunny or when artificial light shines on them. I love the headlights on these cars, so I think they remind me of Porsche. I had a Sport Wagon Ceed earlier, or the Pro Ceed earlier in the year, had similar lights, and I said it looks kind of Porsche, and I got a load of abuse about it, but I actually do. Kind of reminds me of it. So two kind of daytime runners either side. LED light in through here, or maybe it's xenon actually, and then front fog light, some extra chrome down around here, and it's got those big LED indicators, which I think are classy and upmarket looking. And then if you look at the back of the car, even the indicators back here, they're also a nice independent LED. I think it looks really nice. Privacy glass on the rear, chrome all the way around the windows, brushed aluminium roof rails all the way up along there as well. So overall, I think this is my opinion, but I think that is actually a really, really nice looking vehicle. So we will go for a drive in a sec, and there's other things I need to explain to you when you're driving these cars, but we'll just go through the pragmatics. In the back there is 3 head restraints, there is 3 3-point safety belts, there is an armrest in the centre. It's a kind of a cloth with the peripheral leather, kangaroo pockets, ventilation in the rear, Isofix obviously here, Isofix over there. As a 6-foot person sitting behind a 6-foot person, which would be myself, this is the headroom I have, and the legroom's okay as well. Getting closer into driving the car. One thing actually, you probably can't see it now, but there's little lights. At night time when you open up the car, the door handles are lit up. It's really, really neat looking. And then you have a button here for locking. So this is keyless. You can leave this in your pocket, and then you can lock the car. We'll do it for demo purposes. So lock the car. See the light in there? Or then similarly unlock the car. So keyless in and out. Over here, again, brushed aluminium handles. Electrics for windows front and rear with folding mirrors. The seat then has the same kind of light cloth interior with a black leather, which is peripheral all the way around, height adjustable seat. Steering wheel is rake reach, so it goes up and down and in and out. I'm going to explain how all this kind of stuff works in a sec in terms of driving the car. The pedals are also nice brushed aluminium. Looks like there's a lot going over here, but that's just brightness of the dash. There is, oh yeah, if you want to lock the charge cable on the car, this is to open up the regular fuel cap. Over here then is lane change warning or active lane keep management, if you want the car to try and actively stay in its lane when you're driving the car. I'm just going to sit back so you get a more panoramic view of what's going on here. Okay, so over here, this is trip computer, average speed, fuel efficiency, how much range we have, all that kind of stuff that we talked about already. Cruise controls in through here, Bluetooth is over through here, wipers in through here, headlights in through here, and they're automatic for both functions. So they dip at night time, they turn on at night time. When you meet traffic, they dip, and when you go into a country area, they go full by themselves. I love the heating controls because they're really simple. They got big buttons, and then I've got a driver side, got a passenger side, with a big knob that turns. It's really easy to use. This is wireless charging. Place your phone in here, and it starts charging. There is USB down through there. There is another USB in through here, and a 12 volt over through there. Automatic gearbox, we'll have a look when we're driving the car. Drinks holder, which opens back through here. There is automatic handbrake, auto hold, which stops you rolling forwards or backwards instead of having to rely on the handbrake when you're driving. Storage in through there, and there's a gloss black finish up through the dash, so it looks really, really nice as well. This is electrochromic, so it actually darkens itself when someone drives up behind you at night time. Sunglasses holder in through there, and just the usual lights, which are here and also back there as well. Okay, so before we get into the hybrid versus plug-in hybrid and all that kind of stuff, we have a couple of modes. So we got a sport mode, which would be more aggressive pattern in terms of steering, but also throttle response and stuff like that as well. Fine. Gears, so you got park, reverse to go backwards, which gives us parking sensors and a big camera. Neutral, which is neutral. Drive, which is drive. And then I can go across and I can go up and down through the gears if I want, but most people won't. They'll just leave it sitting in automatic, and that'll be it. The screen, while we're talking about it, we saw the PHEV menu, we saw the reverse camera. This is all touch and swipe. For most people these days, what they want to know is we go into all menus here, and then we start to get things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is going to be Google Maps, Spotify, Audible, all those kind of things from your phone. Okay, down through here then, there is EV for electric or HEV. So I got a couple of modes. As I'm pressing that button, I can toggle through automatic, which will automatically use electric driving when it's best, and it'll use hybrid driving when it's best. Or I can say go into hybrid mode, and the car won't use the full electric drive. It'll do a little bit of creeping and stuff, but it'll only act like a hybrid. Basically, it'll act like a car would like this if you never charged it. Or thirdly, then we can press that again and we can move into electric mode. And once we go into electric mode, then EV's popped up here, and the engine revolutions are turned off, and the car is now like driving a full electric car for the next 55 kilometers. One thing that constantly pops up on these is, can you use the heater? You can. Just to distinguish, and fair play to you if you're still watching, because I know some of this is boring for people, but if you're really into this car and you want to know about it, this might be useful. You can drive electric with the heater on. However, what will happen is the engine will start and it'll sit at about 1,000 RPMs just to use the heater. So you're still doing electric driving, the engine's only on to turn on the heater once. So in this case, the engine's now running in the car. Say if I turn off the heater, EVs come back on and you'll hear the engines turn back off. So while you're doing electric driving, the engine can still come back on to power the heater, all right. But once you turn off the heater, then it'll go back into, well, it'll stay in the electric drive it was in. When it comes to switching between modes, you press the button, you'll see on the dash here, it'll tell you what mode you're in, whether it's automatic or full electric or hybrid or whatever. It's really seamless, really straightforward. The car drives nice, it's quiet, it's relaxed, it's automatic, because all hybrid cars, to be fair, they kind of have this effect on you that makes you drive kind of economically. But if you want, you can go into the sport mode and manually select gears up and down using that. But I think for most people, they probably won't. It gives you more, I suppose, aggressive or a more primed ability to overtake, but the car can do it itself anyway, even if you just leave it in automatic. And I suppose the nice thing about automatics, even leaving out the hybrid thing, is you pull into somewhere like this, you want to do a 3-point turn, you don't have a clutch to worry about, you are literally selecting gears. So you're doing a 3-point turn, back into reverse, back out onto the road, and then just literally pull it back into D. So there's an awful lot to be said for once you get into the habit of driving, once you get into the habit even of driving an automatic car. It is nice, it's relaxing, it really helps with driver fatigue if you do a lot of driving as well. And like we were saying to you, hybrids, they are nice, they're quiet, and especially when you're driving in a full EV mode and something like this, it's a lovely kind of relaxed drive. The cabin, looking around it, is nice. Everything is very straightforward, but again, we're used to the product with Hyundai. Kia is very similar, but I just find everything easy to use. So the drive good. Really, for a car like this, I think it's one of those kind of cars that for somebody that's doing, constant motorway driving, to be fair, diesel cars are probably still more advantageous, but diesel cars are getting a little bit more seldom each year that goes on. But for somebody that's doing a lot of drives which involve 50 to 60 kilometers a day, or if you have a charge point at home and a charge point in work or whatever, I think they're good that way. Anyway, there's a long Kia warranty on this car. We will take any trade-in. If you want information about financing or anything like that, Brian's my name, 086 843 1945. Hopefully the video has given you a better idea of what the car is all about, and thanks a million for watching.